We are live. We are live. And you know what's funny is YouTube, every time I go live, they have this welcome to live chat. Remember that your guard and your privacy are top matters. This thing that just comes up on your phone. So I kind of expressed it this week. And essentially, what I'm going to be talking about today is going to be one of the most important things that I think most people are going to regret in their lives. Okay. Millions of people are going to regret this. And the reason being is that I'm seeing it on a smaller and smaller scale. And by smaller and smaller scale, I mean the people that I know. I don't read the news. I don't go to blog posts. I don't know what's a trend and what's not a trend. I don't know any of that on purpose. However, I can see in micro instead of macro, I can see micro trends, especially as I grow older, especially as I grew without social media, and now I have social media. So someone that I knew this week, she left her job and she called me and she's like, "Hey, how's it going? I have a referral for you." And then she went into the referral, and then the second thing she said, "Hey, listen, I left my job." I was like, "Whoa." I was like, "Okay, congratulations," is the first thing I say, because the first thing that I think of is when I left my job at Oppenheimer Funds. And I said, "What was the main reason?" She said, "I felt like I couldn't leave my desk for 8 hours. I woke up at the same time. I went down the same street. I went to the same job. I took the same elevator. I took the same pathway to my desk. I sat at the same desk, and I just sat there all day for 9 hours. Every single day. It didn't really matter. Oh, by the way, you have 4 weeks of vacation, but you can't take them all at the same time. You have to book it in advance. You can't do it if someone else is out. In other words, there's all these rules and regulations." This is what people are going to regret. Millions and millions of people, they're not willing to admit it now. They're not going to post it on social media. They're only going to post that they went to the beach, or they went on vacation, or their summer body, or their new boyfriend or new girlfriend, their new job, that they just went for a run or something like this. And the reason being is they'll never be vulnerable enough. All right, so I'm going to tell you what they're going to regret, and what she told me is that they're going to realize that they were wasting their time, okay, either in a job that they didn't like, doing something they didn't like, or being in a relationship they didn't like. Those are three massive things, okay? So doing something they didn't like in their job, being on social media or watching TV or Netflix or something like that too much. And the third thing is obviously doing something in a relationship, whether it's with their, not doing something, but being in a relationship. Why am I saying this? Because unless we come to the self-awareness that says, I'm not happy, I need to change, nothing will change. Nothing will change. Nothing will change. Because if you keep on doing the exact same thing, yet you're unhappy, that means that something needs to change. But you haven't come to the realization that something can change. And as I said in my live the other day, is that we go through a learned helplessness. We learn that we are helpless, that we are helpless within our relationship, that the relationship that we're in, that we can't get out of, or we're never going to get someone better, or this is just how it is. Whether it's in a job, a relationship, your money, your body, whatever the case is, millions of people will regret this. Do you understand the mental anguish? I went through it 2 days this week, okay? I went through it and I said, Charles, you're emailing instead of calling. Charles, you're texting instead of calling these leads. That mental anguish that I wasn't even pushing myself for those 2 days was enough that today I said, fuck it, dude. You have to get on the phones. You have to prospect better. You have to understand that you have to make more contacts and more calls to bring in more business. You're saying you want this grandiose idea, this grandiose business, this beautiful life, this wealth, this influence, but you're not actually living up to it. That was just 2 days. And it hit me this morning. I said, imagine if those 2 days were for weeks or months or years, and it hit this girl at 38 with no kids, no husband, and she just said, I'm done. I've had enough. And she's going to a house that she bought, and that's it. That is it. So for you guys, come to the self-awareness, okay? That number one, whatever you're doing, you can change, okay? The first thing is awareness. You have to bring awareness, okay? So this is what I do when I first come in every single day, and I'll show you guys the form that I actually fill out, all right? So let me log into my computer, So this is my CRM right here. And the form that I fill out, I don't know where my mouse is. There's my mouse. So the reason I have a form is because whatever you track, you can actually improve, or at least you bring awareness to it. So the first thing I say right there, I don't know if it's backwards. However, it just says smile and have fun, because I noticed I wasn't having fun. I wasn't. I added this 14 hours of training, 15, 16 hours of training in my week, yet I wasn't smiling and having fun and being myself. So I had to bring awareness to it, okay? I noticed that, okay? And by the way, it's not like this. Life is not like this. My life this year was like, holy shit, this is awesome. I'm triathlon training. Then I plateaued, and then I got unhappy because I wasn't hanging out and dating and whatever. And then I said, I need to bring awareness. And now because I brought awareness, it's like that. The second thing is I say, what was good that happened? What needs improvement? And then what is my intention for the day? So for my intention for the day, for the last couple of days was, you need to smile, you need to have fun, you need to be carefree. You need to just bring back the old Charles, okay? Then I have frequency over results. There's 4 things. Number 1 is love 2.0, which means that I connect with someone on a deeper level. Number 2 is I approach a pretty girl that I see, whether it's in line, whether it's in the street, whatever, and just approach her. Soon I'm gonna say, ask for a number and everything else. It's baby steps. Number 3 is I left my phone at work, which I did last night. And number 4 is deep work. So deep work means I'm not on my phone, I haven't checked my email or anything like that. The first thing is awareness. I was aware I was not having fun, so I had to bring attention to it. Number 2, you then have to think, I can change. I can actually change my attitude. Okay, I can change my happiness, my love, my carefree, my fun. I could change that. I could change that I'm not dating right now. How can I change that? I can now approach someone that I think is attractive because I'm not getting on the dating apps. I'm never gonna get on the dating apps. I'm never gonna use my phone for something more than just texting, phone calls, occasionally emails, and occasionally other things. Moving on. I then track when I left work, what time was my bedtime, what time I woke up, and what time I arrived at work. I have to know, on average, when I'm doing things, how much sleep I'm getting. By the way, massive difference when I started tracking my sleep, where I noticed, holy shit, dude, you're not getting enough sleep. That's why you're cranky. Holy shit, dude, that's why you eat. That's why you're going on social media. That's why you're not making enough phone calls. So I had to bring awareness to it. Millions of people are gonna go probably around 38, 39, most females right around 38, 39, because the whole time they're seeing their friends have babies and everything else. Then guys are a little bit later because biologically we have a clock, but it's not as early, okay? Then, what do you use to track your sleep? No, so going up to sleep, they have a very interesting study, and I have so many books in my Amazon shopping cart that I just ordered way too many books. I need to just get through them. By the way, Tom Brady's book is actually very good. I'm halfway through it. I hate Tom Brady, but I don't, because he's a good person. I just don't like that he beats my team all the time. But his book is really good. So there's another book out there. It's not by Matthew Kelly. That's a religious leader. It's something Matthew. Why We Sleep is the name of the title of the book. But in there, they have a study that says so melatonin is essentially what goes into your body, or not goes into your body, is produced by your body when you're about to fall asleep, and it makes you drowsy and everything else. What stagnates that? Blue light, alcohol, caffeine, drugs, things like that, okay? Anything that's not natural. Food, protein especially. When I have protein, I can't sleep. So I track, so it's digital sunset. So digital sunset essentially means that when I turn off my mind from work, okay? Then I have shutdown complete, which means so that's work. That's usually around, I wanna make it earlier and earlier. So that's around 5:30. I want to produce so much between 8 and 5:30 that I can just shut everything down at 5:30 in my mind. No calls, no texts, no emails, nothing. Leave my phone here at work. So that's digital sunset. Then you have shutdown complete. Shutdown complete means that no blue light whatsoever, not even blue light in my apartment. I have the Philips light bulbs that I tell Alexa, I programmed it, and I say, Alexa, dimmer. I have dim, which is when I come home, it's very like orangey light. So your eyes are used to orange, which is the afternoon. That's what sunsets are. In the morning, it's blue light. So your body says, oh, it's the morning. This is millions of years old, okay? The light bulb was within Edison, what, 100 years ago? That's nothing on the evolutionary timescale. So you have shutdown complete, which is, for me, depends. So 8:15, I was in bed yesterday. 8:30, I was hopefully getting, because it's not immediate, okay? So in the book, they talked about the same person, they tried watching an iPad and then going to sleep and tracking the melatonin production. And then they went to bed reading a book, okay? iPad, book, reading the same book, but obviously one has blue light, which is the iPad. Melatonin production started later and was 50% less. So in other words, their melatonin production started at like 2:30 a.m. instead of midnight. So in other words, REM sleep, deep sleep, which is usually in the middle of the night, started later. So those people coming out did not have, that watched the iPad, coming out of sleep, had worse sleep than the people that read on a regular book, okay? So if you're watching TV, it's the same thing. If you're on your iPhone, iPad, iPod, which I have, it's in my backpack over there. So shut down, complete, and everything else. Yeah, so you have Oura Ring is what you're talking about. Oura Ring is something that I kind of, I don't know. I'm not going to do it because I just don't want, this is enough of a digital device, which is what is my resting heart rate? What is my top heart rate? What is my average heart rate? Okay, so resting heart rate is the lowest that goes. The top heart rate, which is usually like this morning, is right around like 171, 172, which is pretty high for most people. For me, I could get it up to like 180, 185. And then my resting heart rate, which is right around probably like 48, 49. I'm sorry, yeah, my resting heart rate is 48, 49. I want to get it to like 45, but my average heart rate is probably around like 51, 50, which is good because that includes walking, sitting down all throughout the day. That's my tracking because that's blood flow. That's how hard your heart is working, okay? It's also mentally, what am I thinking about? If I'm thinking about fear and jealousy and bad shit that's happening, my heart rate is going to increase because whatever happens here happens throughout your entire body. They have made ridiculous brain to cellular connections throughout the entire body. Your endocrine system, and especially your nervous system, which controls everything. If you're not clipping your nails or going for a haircut every, I don't know, month, 5 weeks, that means that your body is more in a flight or fight situation. In other words, it's not good, okay? And the easiest way to track that is because these growing your hair and having your nails grow is not necessary for your survival. However, when your body says, oh my God, what is happening? And then your heart starts beating more, it brings in all the unnecessary things like growing hair and your nails. And it says, put it to your heart, put it to your extremities, put it to your brain, put it to the areas just in case. Okay, that's cortisol, just working overtime, okay? There's another book out there, why, I think it's giraffes or something, or not giraffes, zebras don't have cancer or ulcers or something like that. That's another book I want to get. First, awareness, and sleep is massive. Sleep is massive to me. So I track all of this because it brings awareness to it. Then I say, actually, I can control the amount of dates that I go on. I can control the time I go to bed. So essentially, 6:30 is my digital sunset. Then I do shutdown complete, probably around 7:15 when I come home. So iPad is off. I'm just listening to podcasts by real estate people. I'm listening to Brian Johnson, and that's pretty much it. Or like YouTube videos that my assistant has converted to MP3 player, and then I listen to it. I don't watch anything. Then I have my blue light blocking glasses, Schwammies, I think they're called. And my lights are orange. And then honestly, by 8:15, 8:30, I'm just ready to go down. I'm ready to go down. And then 8:30, because I woke up at 4:30 this morning to go to the gym by 5:30 and be on the treadmill by 5, 1:35 to run for 50 minutes and then go to my gym class. And then during that time, I noticed that I was zonking. So I looked that up and I said, okay, I'm not fueling myself. So fueling myself is getting enough healthy healthy calories into my body. And I also have gels. So these gels are simple carbohydrates. So essentially they're electrolytes. It has 37 grams of carbs, sodium, and potassium. Very necessary. So you don't bonk or zonk, whatever the word is. So don't want to regret. You have to bring awareness. So the awareness probably for you guys is like me, which is unhappiness. I don't know where it is. So right now it's in relationships. So I said, okay, I'm unhappy. Why am I unhappy? Relationships. Okay, I can change. Beautiful. How do I change? That is exactly what I went through. 1% better every single day. And then I said, okay, I need to track this. I track it right here on a Google form, right when I come in. And meditating, I'm doing breathing exercises. Meditating is something that, you know when I meditate is when I stretch. Sometimes when I come home and right before I go to bed, I put on this really good, just soft. I actually got it from Tony Robbins. It's such a deep, powerful, just acoustic song. And then I do that while I'm actually stretching. The lights are off in my apartment pretty much. And then I go right into my book that I'm reading at the time right now. It's the Tom Brady book. And then I go right to bed. That's it. And the good thing is my phone is at work. So when I wake up, I don't even check text messages. I don't have Instagram on my phone. I just posted on Instagram right now. I had to download it. I post it and then I delete it. That's how I do it, because I noticed I'm not going to be at my deathbed and say, I wish I posted more. I'm going to be at my deathbed and be like, why don't I have an extra 10 years? Oh, maybe because when I was 30, I only got 6.5 hours of sleep every single night until I was 40. And then I only got 6 hours of sleep because I had a wife and kid. And then it just decreases from there, okay? Because I didn't think maybe I can change. But you know what? I can. And I'll leave you with this. Actually, my coach told me this yesterday. I was having a conversation with her. And I was like, is it, because it was probably at my pinnacle yesterday where I said something needs to give in my dating, my relationship life, even with my friends. I said, do all triathletes have no social life? Don't you find reading before it means you're staying up thinking about concepts? No, it actually puts me to sleep. There's a couple of times where I'm reading the book and I'm just so tired. This is the thing. So my dad doesn't sleep that well. And I told my mom to tell my dad that this is the thing. My dad is not expending enough energy during the day that he's able to go to sleep. He also watches TV and has coffee and wine, okay? That doesn't help, okay? However, if you're not expending enough energy during the day and you try and sleep, you're not gonna sleep, okay? Say you do everything, which is digital sunset, you leave your work at work, and then you go into shutdown complete, which means it's only analog. In other words, books, not iPads. It's only dim lights and everything else, blah, blah, blah. You already understand that. And you can't fall asleep for a while. There's a lot of shit going on, then I recommend meditating. But for me, I go right to bed. I'm up at 4:30, okay? I'm doing 2-hour workout. I'm sweating, but I'm fueled from that shit that I just showed you. And then sometimes I go and I swim, like last night. I come out of that, I'm exhausted and I'm out. I was talking to this other guy at the gym. He goes, my head hit the pillow, and his girlfriend is like, yeah, he just goes to sleep. So that means you're not expending enough during the day. Spending enough energy. How do you track that? How many steps are you taking? We'll go to it right now. So I am on, you can see it, 13,000. I don't know if it's upside down or whatever. 13,000 steps. About to go on 14,000, and it's 11:23. I'm gonna have 16,000 steps, okay? And my average, because it shows right here, is 14,000. It's a little number underneath it. So you have to track it. It's all about tracking to bring awareness and knowing that you can change. All right, I'm gonna hop out. I'm gonna make some more sales calls. Actually, this is something that I also started doing. optimizing your life 1% better every single day, is that my deep work is 50 minutes and then 10 minutes off where I'm not on my phone, I'm not on my computer, and sometimes I just read, which is, it's a great book. It's an old book. Most people that are younger are not going to understand about Walkmans and cell phones in cars. They called it the car phone, okay, Phone, all right? It was actually, that was like a big deal. And it was also a big deal that they were able to make a call from a plane to clients. But because it was written in the 90s, they just brought up Jurassic Park, which was an incredible movie. It was kind of scary, when you're watching it for the first time. But 50 minutes on, 10 minutes completely off. You're not on your phone, you're not on your computer, you're not looking at any screen whatsoever. Then you go to Deep Work 2, which is again 50 minutes. The Power of Engagement, great book, highly recommend it. It goes all into the science and it's all into the morning. You have 2 deep work sessions every single day. You're gonna be, and you do it you do two deep work sessions. Some people do 3, which is unreasonable. Some people do 2. Sometimes they only do 1, okay? But if you do that every single day, imagine that. 50 minutes Monday, 50 minutes Tuesday, 50 minutes Wednesday. Are you kidding me? You're gonna do 5 hours of deep work. Deep work, the hardest thing that you could do. For me, that's prospecting. That's the creative work for a writer or blogger or video editing or whatever it is for you. If you do that consistently every single day, Monday through Friday, you have destroyed everyone else's schedule. You will be in the top 5%. You will be in the top 1% within whatever amount of time. I was listening to this real estate agent who I want to compete with. The guy has 35 listings that are probably, right now he has probably $30 million worth of probably even more of inventory. And he keeps on beating me at getting listings. And I was listening, so what did I do? I went on YouTube, I looked up that he's done a couple of interviews and I was listening to him. And he actually said 2 years ago, so he's been in the industry 16 years, so now it's 18 years. I've been in it for 10, so he's 8 years ahead. That's not an excuse, but it's always like, okay, good. You feel a little bit better. But he said his main issue is doing the same thing every single day. Okay, he wakes up scared that he's not gonna bring in business that day. That's what motivates him to make calls from 8:30 to 10:30. 8:30 to 10:30, that's 2 deep work sessions. For him, he's probably not even taking a break. So he's probably zonked by 11 because your body can't handle that. Your body needs the rest to just turn it off. I feel it now. If I've done a lot of appointments in a row, I don't look at my phone because my mind needs to come back. It needs to come back. All right, guys, have an amazing day. Probably the next one